Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Tam McManus, Alison McConnell here with me on today's programme. Don't forget, if you want to join the football family, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We'd be absolutely delighted if you could do that. The numbers ever increasing, utilising all the unique video content that we have to show you. And of course, if you want all the breaking news, if you download the app, then you'll get all that breaking news at your fingertips as well. We're giving away a huge cash prize, a real Christmas present for you, and here are the details. This Christmas, PLZ Soccer are giving away a cash bumper prize of £1,000 to one lucky winner on Christmas Day. Over the 12 days of Christmas, we'll be asking a simple question about each of the top flight teams. To be in the hat with a chance of winning, all you have to do is comment your answer, tag 3 friends, and make sure you're following PLZ Soccer. Good luck.
Today's question is, who scored the winner for Ross County when they won the League Cup in 2016?
Oh, what an easy question. You just put that in the comments section, Ruffy. You're in there. Follow, subscribe, share it with your 3 friends. And suddenly you're in the hat, and you don't need to get all 12. You just need one answer correct, and you're in there, and you could have a grand on Christmas Day.
Obviously, we're not allowed to do it, are we? No?
You're not allowed to do it.
The other, I wouldn't have got that one anyway.
Absolutely. It's not a bad, good competition,
It's
Ruffy.
fantastic. I'm sure a lot of the guys and girls out there will be trying to win that £1,000.
Yeah, absolutely. He dug himself out of a hole there quickly, didn't he? And over and above that, usually in the 12 years that we've been going, if you are handing out any sort of prize, usually Ruffy would be there, and it's fantastic to see a legend at your front door. But now he has totally and utterly distanced himself from anything to do with PLZ or indeed tennis or any social activities, Alison, because he's just turned into Grandad Ruff.
That's harsh.
When was the last time you played any sport whatsoever?
About 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You've been there, what about the golf?
Nothing.
No, he's
Grandpa.
just exaggerating.
That's him. That's going to be a swift decline for you.
Exactly.
You need to keep moving.
Anyway, by the way, you have all the luck in the world if you know the answer to that question. By the way, there's 12 questions all the way to the 24th, then the 25th. With a bit of luck, boom, chap on the door, check, £1,000 in your hand. Fantastic.
Merry Christmas.
It's just absolutely brilliant. So good luck with that.
Some
Okay.
areas might want cash.
Oh no, it's definitely. I think it's a Stonewall certainty. It'll be cash. Anyway, good luck with the competition. I'll let you get involved in it at the end of the programme as well. Lots to talk about: European football, Premier Sports Cup, World Cup draw, and of course the SPFL fixtures, all on today's show. So let's get right steamed into it. Rangers won, Tottenham Hotspur won. What a fantastic game that was, Ruffy, and boy, do I feel sorry for Rangers.
Yeah, certainly do. I thought it was great to watch. You know, all credit to Rangers. They've come on so much in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and last night was fantastic. I thought, obviously, Mike Foster had a few saves, you know, that Rangers could have thought they could have won that game quite comfortably, but at the end they come up with something a wee bit special as well. But all credit to Rangers, and it just makes, for me, this weekend more exciting.
Yeah, Egerman with the goal for Rangers, and of course Kulusevski with the equaliser for Spurs. Alison, I thought Rangers should have won it out at the park.
Yeah, I thought they were the better team. I think a couple of weeks ago you could sense a frailty, a vulnerability about Rangers whenever they took to the park. I think all of a sudden, a couple of big results behind them and they look like a different team. I think you could sense the belief and the confidence about them. Last night, I think there was a synergy between them and the support. And like Ruffy, I think it bodes well for Sunday's game. I think it'll be very intriguing now to see how this one plays out. But I would agree with you. I think they'll feel as though that was a game where they could well have taken all 3 points. I think Fraser Forster was probably the man of the match.
Even the Rangers manager, Philippe Clement, agrees with you, Alison.
I don't think it was only important for Rangers. I think it's also important for Scottish football that people see that there's good football being played in Scotland also. And in that way, to compete with the top side out of the Premier League, it's a massive thing.
I mean, I think he deserves great credit, Tam, because quite simply, at times last night, I was listening to the commentary, and in the first 60 minutes, you would have thought actually Tottenham were doing Rangers a favour, listening to Glenn Hoddle, talking about it as if, well, Tottenham are just about to go on to, 11 on the Spinal Tap volume. It didn't materialise. Rangers were all over them.
Yeah, I think even from the first couple of minutes, I think Raskin set the tone on Maddison. I think he was sent out to do a job on him. I think he just ratted about him the first 5-10 minutes, didn't give him space. Clattered into him a couple of times. Maddison wasn't happy, didn't like it. None of the Spurs players liked it. They looked leggy, they looked tired, they looked short in confidence.
Their passing
was poor, they were sloppy, Peter, simple passes. And that's not what you would associate with an Ange Postecoglou team. It was always quick, sharp passing. And you're right, I thought Rangers totally deserves to win the game. I thought that at the end, the chance, for Dessers, he does everything right. He gets into a great position, he turns inside, takes a great wee touch, and then he's just got to lift it over the goalkeeper. Just a wee bit of composure, and Rangers win that game, and he blasts it straight at the goalkeeper. Listen, you give the goalie credit, but I think Rangers, looking at that performance, that's the best performance that I've seen under Philippe Clement. And if you're a Rangers supporter, all of a sudden, from absolutely fearing the worst on Sunday, you're actually going into this game thinking, we've actually got a chance to win it. So that's been a massive turnaround in the last 3 or 4 weeks, all probably starting from that Nice game away from home.
Yeah, Černý for me is a danger man. Last night I just thought he looked as if every time he got the ball, they were backing off. They were worried you could go left or right, Ruffy.
Yeah, I think I said it last week as well. If you allow a team like Rangers be on the front foot with their wide players, they're going to cause you a lot of problems. What you've got to sort of get people in the positions that they're going backwards, and having to defend. So that's what Celtic will be trying to do at the weekend, because Rangers will be trying to do that to the Celtic wing backs and the forward players. So it's going to be an interesting game at the weekend. I thought last night Rangers were superb. I thought they could have won that by 3 goals quite easily. And I think they do have enough points now, don't they, to get into the playoffs. I don't think they have to rely on anybody else. So well done to them. Yeah,
another thing I was going to say, which I think Tam touched on there, if Dessers actually hits the shot according to what Dessers normally does, it goes in the back of the net, but he hit it so well, straight at the goalkeeper as well,
I don't know if you've noticed, but most of the important saves that goalkeepers are having now are with their feet or their legs.
Yeah.
It seems to be this new style of diving, where you spread yourself. I know it's called something, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I even watched...
Spreading and diving.
No, it's called something. It's called something.
Starfish.
I think it is a starfish, yeah. It is. And if you notice most of the saves, I watched all the European goals as well, and a lot of their saves as well were off the ankle or off the knee or whatever. So, he had a few. He did it. You remember he did it? Foster did it with Celtic against, was it Chris Boyd in the cup final?
No, it was Morelos.
Everything hit him. His legs, his knees, his feet. So, and he's a big lad as well. So, I thought he did well. But Butland did a fantastic save as well early on in the game.
Was it, as Tam says, was it a starfish like that, or was it... What kind of fish was it, Ruffy?
No, it was
it's a starfish. Yeah.
I'm hoping it's a starfish and not a swordfish.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. As far as Tottenham Hotspur are concerned, I mean, they were poor, and I think a lot of that was down to the way Rangers played them. But Ange Postecoglou, not only after the game, but today ahead of the weekend for Spurs, he again wasn't going to apologise for hooking guys like Timo Werner, who was ranked rotten. He came out with all guns blazing today again.
I think it's just going to be we need a good performance team.
We'll come back to Ange Postecoglou in a minute. Well, we'll hear from Nico Raskin as well. Let's see if we can hear Ange Postecoglou on those bruised egos.
Look, I've got no time for that sort of stuff anymore. We're in a fight here, Like we're in a fight. I'm not going to go around worrying about people's bruised egos. Yeah, this football club, we want to achieve things. We want to be successful, and we're down to the bare bones in players. I'm not going to, if there's somebody in that dressing room who's fit, able to contribute, that feels like he needs something extra in this moment, he's probably not the right type.
Well, there you are, Alison. That's exactly. He is losing.
He's fighting for his own job too.
Yes, he's losing. The press are losing patience with him, and he is losing patience with them.
He's fighting for his own job, and I think it's been a desperate last 6 weeks for him. I think Man City result aside, some of the performances have been poor. I thought Spurs were very, very disappointing last night. I think he expected so much more from them. I think they look like a team devoid of any kind of confidence at all. So he can't afford to be indulgent of players that he thinks have checked out already. So I think in one aspect he's quite right to call it out, but also what you see is a manager knowing that the clock's ticking on his own job and his own position. He needs to get results. There needs to be some cohesion to that team. I think the Christmas period, particularly down south of the border, it is so busy, incredibly hectic. When you look at their injury list, you look at who's out and what he's got available, it'll be interesting to see just where they are come January.
I think it's a case of when, not if. And the last person you really want as your chairman is Daniel Levy.
Yeah, he's getting in the neck as well, I think, from a large section of the support. For kind of not backing the manager and giving him the players that he probably wanted. They've signed a lot. They've spent a lot of money actually, Tottenham, but they've signed a lot of young players. I think they spent £40 million on the lad Archie Gray last night, and I think 10 million on the Swedish lad that come on. So they're all young players. I think if you look at that performance in isolation last night, I just think that was a team that kind of went through the motions. I think they didn't look as if they were fighting for the manager last night. They didn't play the way Ange probably wanted them to play, high tempo, passing. It was lacklustre, and they were very fortunate, let's be honest, to get a point out of that. I think if they got beat last night, I think he probably would have got sacked, to be honest. So they've got Southampton away, they've got Man United and Liverpool coming up. I mean, does he see the new year? Probably not for me. Just looking at last night and the injuries he's got in key positions, he's playing the young lad Archie Gray at centre-half last night. They've got 3 centre-halves out, goalkeeper's injured. Timo Werner, guys like that are just not contributing. So, I think Ange you can see that now. I think Ange is just, Alison's right, he's in survival mode. He's not going to mollycoddle any players anymore. He's going to say what he thinks and he's going to go down on his own sword.
Yeah, okay. I still think, great credit to, and sometimes on this programme, Ruffy, people have, there are some people who get selective hearing. I think the overriding, feeling is well done, Rangers, because despite the failings of Tottenham, Rangers played really well.
I thought Rangers were fabulous. I'm sure the Rangers support, although Philippe Clement has been told them to hang on in there to get my players back and hang on, we get my best 11, and a lot of people didn't really buy into that, but I think you've got to buy into it now. I thought they were very impressive the other night, and if they continue to, have that kind of level of performance, I think we're in for a right good season, because I think it's going to be a lot closer than what we thought.
Yeah, okay. That's Rangers. We're going to talk Rangers in the Premier Sports Cup final shortly as well. We'll be looking at the World Cup draw for Scotland. We'll also be looking at the awarding of the World Cup in 2030 and 2034, as well as the SPFL fixtures over the weekend. One thing I did notice, I don't know if you've noticed it, Alison, but as well as this withdrawal from any kind of mixing with anybody at PLZ, he's wearing his grandpa jumper and shirt as well now.
I thought you looked very smart.
Well, it's kind of a Jack and the Beanstalk outfits for the kids and all that, isn't it?
It's panto season. I took my grandchild to
He looks like he looks like
him before him there.
He looks like
panto season.
He looks like a middle class retired banker from Morningside,
Can I tell you something, honestly?
Banker.
Yeah, can I tell you right now? You're absolutely right, Tam.
Didn't he look?
Well, I'm looking at him now, and
The tramp at the PLZ.
do you remember the old Peter and Ruffy's football show? I've got nothing in common with this guy here. The old boy was the boy that I liked. That's the boy that I formed a relationship with, Alison, but not this boy. Okay, if we're complimentary about Rangers, we're certainly not complimentary about Hearts. Copenhagen 2, Hearts 0. Okay, there was a dodgy penalty, but Hearts, I think there was one chance where it came off a Copenhagen player.
They never looked in the mix at all. Never looked likely of taking anything. I think that would be quite disappointing too for them, just the manner of the performance as well as the fact of the defeat.
Woeful.
It's been woeful for the start. We thought early on that the first couple of games, I think they got 6 points in on the go. But ever since then, it's been not impressive at all. And we all talked about Shankland not scoring goals. He scored 2 at the weekend. I just think I can't see Hearts being a top 6 team this year at this moment in time. I can't, unless they do something in January. I think they're going to struggle for a long time in the season.
Yeah, James Wright clearly shares your view. He says, good to see that Hearts have turned the corner and Shankland's on fire. I mean, they just...
It was a total mismatch, Peter.
It's been a poor campaign, though. They've still got to beat Petrocub and they've got an outside chance by the way.
Listen, I think they've got a chance to beat them at home. I don't think they're any great shakes, but I think Copenhagen are a Champions League team, really. I think they're a pot 1 team, Peter. I think no one would expect Hearts to go over there and get a result. I think Copenhagen are on a different level from Hearts, and it showed last night. Hearts, I think they were fortunate to get out with 2-0, to be honest. They never created it, and the penalty's probably not a penalty, but they were a far second best in that game the whole night, and they go away to Kilmarnock on Sunday. They've got a tough game. Shankland's injured, and they've got really, really hard games, tough fixtures coming up. They've got Hibs as well coming up on the horizon. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're slightly performing better in terms of results and performances, but I mean, that last night they were totally outclassed for me.
Yeah, Ali, I was speaking to one of my Hearts pals this morning. He says needs a clear out.
Yeah, I think a lot of Hearts fans would think that. I think again, I think you question just the direction that the team is gone in since the start of the season. I think the problem that he will have too is bringing in new players when you maybe think it makes the squad really bloated. I think you need to maybe get rid of players before you bring new players in. I think we know Lawrence Shankland contributed with a couple of goals last weekend, but that situation too, I wonder if there was a bid in January, do you accept it and let him go rather than hanging on and for another 4 or 5 months, or is there going to be a bid given that it's been such a poor opening half of the campaign for him?
Okay, give us your thoughts on Hearts. Some people think it's okay, they've done all right. They're still at the bottom end of the table, second bottom, trying to get away from relegation. And expectation is that Hearts should be in the top 6. Will they make it? How many changes do they need in the January transfer window? Give us your view on that. If you were watching Rangers last night, if you were at the game, then give us your thoughts on that. The only thing I would say right across the board there as we get ready for the weekend in the Premier Sports Cup as well is banners. We're going to talk about banners, we're going to talk about pyrotechnics, we're going to talk about flares, all of that coming up after the news.
Hi there, I'm Kerry and here is your daily news update on Friday the 13th of December, brought to you by Arnold Clark Rewards. Buy a car, download the app and get rewarded. Rangers manager Philippe Clement says all eyes are now on Hampden for this weekend's cup final clash against Celtic.
We're going to recover as fast as possible and best as possible, and we're going to throw all our energy into that game at Hampden to give our fans again the good feeling that they had last season in this League Cup. And it's good in that way also, this good performance, that players can have the next couple of days also a lot of belief in what they are doing.
Rangers goalkeeper Jack Butland maintains that he, along with the rest of his teammates, will continue to disappoint the doubters as the games come thick and fast across all competitions.
That's what people tend to do with this club, and hopefully time and time again we continue to disappoint people and get back to where we should be. It's a long journey. There's still things that we need to improve, but we're getting there. And the work ethic and desire in the group and around the club is to be successful. We really want that.
And St Mirren boss Stephen Robinson maintains his side must do better in the defensive side of the game if they want to climb the Premiership table.
Because in the SPFL there's a lot of longer balls, there's a lot of long throws, a lot of balls into your box that you have to defend, no matter the good bits in between the two 18-yard boxes. They're the bits that matter, and we haven't defended that well enough, so we have to look at personnel as well, and people that are willing to do that and leaders that are willing to do that, and that's something I have to fix.
For all the latest breaking headlines, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel, and don't forget to download our app, which is available on Google Play and the App Store.
Thanks to Kerry for a look at the news headlines there. Premier Sports Cup final on Sunday, and suddenly, Ruffy, I think we're in for a game because Rangers, their fans, the players, the manager, confidence must be sky high.
Yeah, I believe it will be. Dressing room's an important place to be in a final. You know, whenever you've got everybody very positive, you know, it's always good once you get on the park. You're desperate to get on there. As I said earlier, I think Rangers are a different animal now. They've got a lot of players back, a lot of them are in form as well. But so are Celtic. I mean, Celtic, I have to remember, are undefeated. They're winning goals quite comfortably when they play, most teams. So I think it'll be a very, very tight game at the weekend. I still think Celtic have got more goal-scoring opportunities in their team than Rangers, but I'm really excited to watch it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those games now where, you know, all of us have been looking over the 4 to 6 weeks, written press, radio, TV, people maybe looking at that game and thinking it was a foregone conclusion. Not now. And, you know, I was listening to Jack Butland there. He's clearly embracing this siege mentality, you know, as if, you know, Rangers are disappointing people with what they're doing. They're not disappointing them. They're just actually coming out of a period where they were rightly criticised, Alison.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think I also think if you're at Celtic and Rangers and you've maybe not grown up here and understand the culture around both clubs, I think probably the intensity and ferocity of criticism when the team's not doing well would probably take you aback at points. So obviously, yeah, there's a bit of everyone, you know, everyone's out to get us, etc., which I think you see often when teams aren't doing particularly well in terms of creating that mentality within a dressing room. Whatever works for players, I think fans quite enjoy all that kind of narrative and rhetoric. However, I think what you see crucially go ahead of Sunday's game is two confident teams. I think you don't have a level of apprehension about Rangers that you maybe would have had a month ago. I think they look much more cohesive. I think there have been players come in, players that have gone out, which might be just as important. But I think clearly in Egeman, you've got a player there that looks a very exciting prospect. He looks as though he carries menace. And that's something that Rangers haven't really had across the last season or so. A player that just maybe strikes a bit of fear into opposition hearts, and I think that will give Rangers so much encouragement ahead of Sunday, because you have seen in games between Celtic and Rangers in glimpses they've caused Celtic problems, they've asked questions of Celtic's defence, but they've not been clinical when they've had opportunities. What you have now is a player who'll maybe be able to go and take those opportunities. Yeah,
everybody wondering about what the lineups are going to be. With Alistair Johnstone not training, that was spotted by a number of eagle eyes, but Brendan Rodgers has clearly looked at him and thinks he will be fit and okay for the weekend. Suter and a number of other Rangers players, the manager's at this moment speaking to the assembled members of the press, but he's not committed himself to whether Suter or make it or not. I have my doubts. He was holding his groin. Could you take a jag?
No. I think I think he'll be out, Peter. I'll be very surprised if he plays. I think, having done that myself, you know, you can just feel something. You know, whether it's a tear or just something clicks, and you just can't. There's no way you can take a jag in that area. So if he's tore or pulled his groin or he's strained his groin, he's not going to play. And I think that would be a huge blow for Rangers. I think he's been Rangers' best defender this season. I think he's been in great form, and you know, proper. I thought it was excellent last night when he came on. You know, and he's been under fire a wee bit with the Rangers supporters. I'm not sure about him. Balogun will play. I like Balogun as well. So
here's a predicted lineup for Rangers. What do you make of it? Is this? I mean, listen, it's there to be shot down. Butland, and then Sterling, Balogun, Proper and Jefte, Diamande, Raskin, Černý, Hadji, Egeman and Danilo. The big argument is Sterling for Tavernier.
Yeah, I would play Sterling. I just think Tavernier's got like a rabbit in the headlights against Dyson Maeda for many games now. I think that Celtic, if they've seen that team sheet coming through, straight away they would be thinking, get the ball out of Maeda. I just think it's a mismatch. I think like James Tavernier just can't defend against him. I think Sterling is certainly quicker and more physical, can match him. Not quite match him, you know, pace for pace, but certainly quicker than Tavernier. So I think Tavernier's somebody that you bring on maybe later in the game if you're needing a goal. I'd be very surprised if he plays Tavernier. I thought he had a great game last night, but totally different game playing against Dyson Maeda than it was playing against Timo Werner last night. So I think that will be the lineup, Peter. And I agree with Alison. I think that Egemani is just, you know, he's come in and he just looks as if something's going to happen every time he touches the ball. And you've seen him when he kind of kept the ball up last night. He's full of confidence. You know, he's scoring goals. That goal against Tottenham will give him a massive boost of confidence. He'll think he can score against anyone now. So he's certainly one that Celtic need to be wary of in the final third.
The other thing, and to be fair, Ruffy, you know, it causes a great amount of consternation and discussion. Does Tavernier, you know, have to sit it out as Rangers captain, and in comes Sterling? I think Tavernier, as we all know, is great going forward. It's when he's pushed back the way that he's suspect, when he has to look over his shoulder almost to worry about who's there from a set piece. That's when he's found out. Last night he played a ball in for Egeman for the goal, which was sublime. It was he didn't even need to check his stride. It was fantastic. And in such moments in cup finals, you just wonder, what's your take on it?
I think Tam's hit it in the head. You know, it's the manager that has to make that decision. You know, Maeda has run him ragged.
Would you play him?
I'd have a chat with him and see what his feeling is on it. You know,
boss, I want to play. I'm the captain. I really want to play in a cup final. Hello.
No, he's going to honestly say to him, look, obviously, you know, you've been toasted every time you play the game.
No, you know what this reminds me of?
That's going to inspire confidence.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Ruffy's. This reminds me of Ruffy's chat to Ian Andrews after a game in Europe, where he said to him, "Look, I'm your sidekick." He said, "You've lost a bad goal. You've probably cost us the tie, and it's Rangers at the weekend. You know, good luck with that."
I'd probably be playing because he's more of a goal threat than Mulligan,
or Sterling.
Sterling, yeah.
You'd play him.
Yeah, I'd play him. Yeah.
Oof, yeah. Well, sorry about that last 90 seconds, by the way, of just padding till he got there. Ruffy, you'd play him.
Yeah, I'd play him. Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I just think you've seen what Maeda can do to him, and you've not only seen it in an isolated game, you've seen it as a recurring pattern and theme within these matches. I think Rangers actually look more solid defensively when he's not playing.
The manager's got a perfect excuse now, Peter. We'll get him into the office maybe tomorrow and say, listen, it's 3 games in a week. You know, it's
too much for you. 33-year-old.
Sterling, but you've still got a part to play. But
yeah,
he also offers something. He also offers something coming off the bench.
Absolutely.
As you saw last night, he offers something. He offers an attacking threat.
Yeah.
So if the game is stayed, or you feel as though you need an injection of something going forward, he can offer you something. He can change it. You can introduce him and think he may contribute in a creative sense. I don't think he'll start.
So 0-0, 5 minutes to go, free kick 20 yards out, you make a last substitution.
I would say you would give him the last half an hour. If the game's in the balance, the last half an hour, you know he's going to give you something going forward, and he's far more reliable going forward than he is in a defensive sense, particularly against the pace of Maeda.
Okay, if you're a Rangers fan, would you play James Tavernier or would you go Sterling? Give us your view on that. What about the team selection there? What about this, Ruffy? Celtic, Alistair Johnson looks as if he's A-OK, according to the manager. So here's a predicted lineup for Celtic. What do you make of it? Schmeichel in goal, Johnson, Carter-Vickers, Trusty and Taylor, Kuhn, McGregor, Hatate, Maeda, Bernardo and Kyogo.
The Bernardo one, he seems to favour him in the big games just now, obviously. The young boy has been in and out, but I think that 11 is his best 11, and I think that's the 11 he would play. I don't see anybody, you know, coming out of left field and taking somebody else's place, because that is the team he relies on for him to win games.
Yeah, Bernardo? Isn't it amazing the cup final that Rangers and Celtic played in May? It was Bernardo who came on and made the difference.
Set up Ida for the goal. I think there's only 2 question marks probably about that starting 11. I think Taylor or Valle, and Engels or Bernardo. I think Bernardo's offered more in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Between Taylor, I'm not sure if he'll start with Taylor. Don't know.
Yeah.
But those would be your only 2 positions. I think every other one almost takes care of itself.
Yeah. Tam, I know from time to time you've got quite a strong opinion on these things, but obviously when you don't have, then you answer your phone during the show. What's your wife said to you about that selection there?
That wasn't my wife. No. Listen, I think that'll be the Celtic team. I don't see there being any changes there. And as I said, he's got plenty of options to come off the bench. You know, if need be. You know, he's got a strong bench there. Adam Hyder, he can come on. You know, Engels. You know, James Forrest. You know, he's got players that can turn the game if Celtic need it. So it might come down to that. You know, it might be a tight game, it might go the extra time. And I just think that when you look at both benches, I think Celtic are far stronger, and that could be the difference.
This is what Brendan Rodgers had to say on this cup final. Obviously, from his point of view, I think for Rangers, they'll want to bring the level that they've been over the last 3-4 games. No matter what the form is going into a final, it's a one-off game. The two teams will feel happy, and I'm sure they're in a good mood to go and play the game. And yeah, I'm excited about it, says Brendan Rodgers. As far as Rangers are concerned, well, let's hear from Nicolas Raskin, because I think from his point of view, like many of the Rangers players and the Rangers fans, they just have to concentrate on this one-off game and get the victory they crave.
I think it's just going to be we need a good performance team. Being a blog, to be fair, we just need to repeat the kind of performance we've been doing in Europe, because it's that type of game, you know. So just go on, play the same way we've been playing today. We've been playing Nice, Olympiacos, and then go win. We just need to win. It's not going to be the midfield or offensive. It's just the whole team needs to go, stick together with the fans pushing and go for the win.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be one of those great classic cup finals where there's two sets of fans. Ruffy, I love that. I know Alison's laughing and she just will continue to laugh at me for it. I won't let it go. Great, it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Unbelievable. You know, if you've got a ticket for the game, I think you could probably see the game of the season so far, because Rangers have improved so much. But Celtic keep ticking away there. I think we've got to realise that they haven't been beaten, you know, by anybody. Nobody's tested them. Nobody's put them under pressure. I think Rangers are very, very good going forward, but it seems to be when they're up against somebody who's going to be attacking you most of the game, you know, that they struggle a wee bit. You're talking about the players that are playing well for Rangers this year. They're all playing well going forward. I have my doubts when they have backs to the wall, when they have to defend. There's always one or two of them get found missing.
Yeah, David Beattie agrees with you. He says, Brendan, 1 defeat in 16.
Yeah, I think it's maybe fudged a wee bit by the fact that Celtic didn't have the best of performances on Tuesday night and against Hibs too. I think they're maybe not quite at their best despite getting the result. So I think the optics of recent weeks, you're looking at it and thinking Rangers look like as though they're hitting the best form of their season going into this game, whereas Celtic have maybe not been quite at the heights that they've been at in previous weeks of the season. I think that maybe just fudges the perception of the game. I think though Celtic have been incredibly consistent across the board. I think I think there's no question that in terms of confidence and belief, there's no doubt that they take that into this fixture, given the fact that Philippe Clement's never beaten a Celtic side either. I think there is a lot of mental elements that go on in the background of this fixture. Rangers will feel as though that they're hitting this game arguably in the best shape of their season.
Mo says, Suter injured for Sunday. Well, from the press conference, Philippe Clement himself basically said that John will do everything to play in the game, still waiting on an overall assessment from the doctor on that. So whether he does or not is going to be probably one of those right down to the wire chats with the player, overall assessment of the extent of the injury. But as Tam mentioned there, I think general feeling is that he's going to be really struggling to make this cup final. Give us your prediction. What do you think is going to happen? Give us your scoreline on it. Rangers Celtic fans out there, give us your thoughts on it as well. A couple of points just before we finish on this one. Of course, Hugh Dallas has refereed many an Old Firm head-to-head, some feisty ones at that. And he was in our studios today talking to Alison McConnell. If you want to see the full extended interview, you can. It's on our YouTube channel. Always great to hear from Hugh. He was talking, of course, about John Beaton, who is the match official, the man in the middle to officiate in this game. And of course, when you get more and more of these games under your belt, you start to know which players you just need to speak to make sure it's calm and we don't lose any bodies during the 90 minutes and beyond. And we'll come back to that Hugh Dallas clip from Alison's interview, but it's well worth watching. Alison chatting away with Hugh Dallas for about half an hour, Alison, yeah?
Yeah, he was in great form. I think quite interesting. He'd made a line, he said a line just about how in these games you're always determined as a referee to try and keep everyone on the pitch, which completely goes against the grain of what you would hear when you sit in among supporters and you hear, the first thing you kind of hear sometimes is, oh, he can't wait to get his cards out, or he couldn't wait to send someone off, whereas from the referee's perspective what he's saying is, I'm actually trying to protect the players from themselves sometimes and say, you know, you're far more valuable to your team on the pitch than you are off it. And just mentioning the fact that the role of captaincy can be so important in terms of trying to make sure that players who are maybe not that experienced in the fixture don't get caught up in the atmosphere, don't get carried away with the emotion of the game, and just try and keep their heads.
Don't forget, if you are posting any comments on our channel, it's cup final weekend, and it's probably just right and proper of me to mention. I was just about to say, if you are a bigot in any capacity, if you suffer from sectarianism or anything like that, don't forget there are actually fanzine sites and channels where you can go and watch and comment with like-minded people, stupid people, daft people, people with no brains. Remember, you can join in with them at any point. So this is not the show for you if you want to try and make any stupid, abusive comments. We will just ban you, and then we'll keep talking about football. And then I think when you get to a weekend like this, you do indeed get people that, again, social media offers them a platform where they can be stupid and just basically peddle their bile. Try and keep it to football. We're a football channel. If you look back through our history, it's all about players from every club. And of course, we offer our opinion on it. Regardless of what religion we are or where we came from, our profession is to offer you things as a pundit, as a journalist, and you can take it or leave it. Over and above that, one thing that I think most people will have to leave if they are Celtic or Rangers fans, Ruffy, is Pyrotechnics, because the SPFL's released a statement saying basically the police will implement sanctions, banning orders, criminal charges against anybody with pyrotechnics on that day. They have confirmed that there will be flame boxes which are controlled to create that sense of occasion, which they do up at Pittodrie. There will be lots of, no doubt, streamers, flags, you name it, all the bunting you could possibly wish for. But pyrotechnics is a no-no.
Yeah, I think we'd all agree with that 100%. You know, that it's dangerous. You know, I saw a clip in one of the newspapers, somebody was holding two of them, two of the flares, and the people round about them were scared. They were sort of, worried about where it was going to go and that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, you laughed at me last week when they said you've got to make an example of that people. That particular photo that I saw, that guy would be easily being picked out by CCTV, and it'd be easy. I know what you're saying, getting in amongst them is a no-no.
Yeah.
But from that picture, if you identify who that is, I think it'd be quite easy to find who he is.
Well, I do think that actually the police with their CCTV look back afterwards to highlight people. It would be remiss of me not to highlight that the police do their job, not necessarily right there and then, because the reason why I dismissed your comment the other day there, Robbie, was because at times it's madness for the safety of police officers to go in among, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 fans, whether it's Celtic or Rangers, and say, right, we're going to lift a whole wad of you.
Yeah, I think the problem is just getting them in the first place. I think, I think if you have, I think it's a really difficult question because I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think the words and the appeals of clubs tend to fall on deaf ears, and I think until clubs are probably held responsible for the behaviour of their fans, I think it'll continue. Okay,
both Rangers and Celtic, 118 trophies. So somebody is going to have... I love the noise up factor, Tam. Somebody is going to move ahead. Look at your face, Alison. Somebody's going to move ahead if they win the league. I'm
sure
league
we won't hear about it.
Well, we're going to hear about it because it's turned into this battle of supremacy, and now both of them are neck and neck, Ruffy.
Well, they've been neck and neck, you know, for so many years. You know, it's who's won many leagues, who's won this, who's won that. You know, 9 in a row, all that stuff. So the supporters for both clubs are buy into it. You know, it's something they want to shout for the heavens if they're in charge of the numbers.
Domestic arms race.
Yes, that's exactly. Well done, Ali, with that one. You're happy. Look at your face. You're happy with that one, aren't you? Okay, let's stop all the bull and just call it as we see it. How do you see the game going?
Well, if you'd have asked me a month ago, I'd have been a firm Celtic easily. I'm not so sure now. I still think Celtic will win the cup, but I just think Rangers are playing with a bit of confidence at the minute. There's something's clicked, and I think it'll be a close game. But I just think Celtic turn up in big games. You know, until Celtic don't turn up in a big game, you just got to always back them. Somebody mentioned Brendan Rodgers' record there against Rangers. It's incredible. So Celtic, the difference for me is Celtic will go in expecting to win, Rangers will go in hoping to win, and I'll go for 2-1 to Celtic.
Alison.
Yeah, I'd agree with a lot of that. I think Celtic will prevail. I think they'll win, but I think it'll be very tight. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to extra time. I would fancy that Celtic have the greater depth to cope with that. They have players who can come in and change the game, as we saw back in May at the cup final. I think they'll win, but I think Rangers will run them close.
Yeah, I think it could go to extra time as well. I think it's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be a particularly open game. I think there'll be loads of chances, and that's why I'm going to go for Celtic, because I think on the theme sheet there are more goal scorers in that Celtic team and coming off the bench than what Rangers have. But I think we're in for an exciting weekend, and I think Celtic will win eventually 2-1.
Scott Miller says Celtic are in for a big shock on Sunday, believe me. Jim Cunningham says 3-1 to Glasgow Rangers. Dublin says Celtic 4, Rangers 1. So many people. Martin, who is clearly working for the United Nations, says it could go either way. Martin, you should say here. Honestly, no. Martin just sits in the middle there, and nobody abuses him. Yeah, John McLean, who is part of a Christmas movie, is 3-0 Celtic. 3-0 Celtic. Did you get that, Ruffy?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God for that. Okay, so give us your opinion on how you think it's going to go. I mean, we've given you what we think might be the lineups. We've given you all the comments coming out of both camps on this one. It's now down to the players and how they go about their business. I hope it's a game where basically fans will go there, enjoy it. It's only a game of football. It's not life or death. It is a chance to go and support your team, hang about with your mates. The build-up is fantastic. I don't know about you. I can remember as a kid going to these games. There was a wee bit of fear, I must admit. Even as a press guy, I think the most scared I've ever been was the guy who jumped off the top tier for a pie. That game will stick with me forever, which of course Hugh Dallas talks about in his interview with Alison. Referees, how you've got to try and handle the red hot atmosphere of it. But the build up to it, the banter from normal fans is really good.
Yeah, it's great. It's the biggest game in the country, and we are a football country, Scotland, and everybody looks forward to these games, cup finals. Heroes are made, legends are made. And we'll wait and see what happens at the weekend. But I just hope we're not talking about the referee. I hope we're talking about a good game of football, Peter. And, good play, good goals. A team deserving to win. And we're not talking about a penalty decision or a handball or something like that kind of takes a shine off a win for someone. So I hope the best team wins. And we'll see what happens at the weekend. But I'm looking forward to it. As I said 3 or 4 weeks ago, I thought Celtic just had to turn up. But certainly don't think that now. Yeah,
two best Old Firm goals I've ever seen, Ruffy, some absolute belters down through the years, but I'm going to pick 2 that stick in my head, just for sheer class, quality, cool finishing, and I think certainly been the top 5 for both Celtic and Rangers. First one, Larsson's in the 6-2 game, nutmegs Bert Konterman, chips Stefan Klos. Cool as you like. Second one, Davy Cooper, Dryborough Cup final, 1979. Picks the ball, puts it over 3 Celtic players' heads, down on his chest, side foots it into the back of the net, walks away as if it's a 5-a-side game. as Davy in his Norham. But the two players were just oozing class. See, if you get goals like that in a game, you never, ever forget the games.
No, and you want to be the winning. You want to be the winning one. You're the one you want to remember. Wee Joe Miller scored the winner in a cup final, you know, and he'll remember that for the rest of his life. As anybody who scores in these games, I always remember Murdo McLeod's goal. A particular goal, right?
I thought you remembered your pal's goal or my pal's goal.
Big Derek.
Yeah,
Aye,
Big
Derek had one.
He jumped in between Jim Craig and Billy McNeil.
Yeah, he had a few as well, at an early age.
Yeah,
I may
16.
add. Yeah, 16 I may add. But, I mean, Rangers and Celtic supporters out there, I remember hundreds of goals. Hundreds of goals that have, through the years, you know, they've been, as Tom said, we just want it to be an exciting game. No VAR, I don't want VAR involved at all. Anyway, who is the VAR guy?
Hey?
You know who the VAR guy is?
I'm not even going to go. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Don't go there. Anyway, good luck to the VAR referee as well on Sunday. We will keep you up to date. We'll be there. We'll be looking forward to it. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And if you download PLZ Soccer's app, we'll keep you right up to date. Right across our social media, we'll have the build-up. We'll obviously have updates for you and then full-time managers and players' reaction. Simple as that. Here's the fixtures for the Scottish Premiership over the weekend, what you can look forward to, because there are football games elsewhere. Life exists out with Celtic and Rangers. Hibs against Ross County, Motherwell against Dundee United, St Johnstone, St Mirren, and Kilmarnock against Hearts are the games to look forward to. Hibs against Ross County. The High Bees, have they turned the corner for you?
I hope this is a big test for them, Peter. I think this is a game they should win. I think that when you look at Ross County this season away from home, they have been dreadful. I don't think they've won away from home in 14 or 15 months. They've scored one goal away from home. Hibs, you know, got a lot of plaudits for the performance last week, only no points, but you know, scored 3 against Aberdeen, 3 against Motherwell, could have scored 3 against Celtic. I think if Hibs turn up and play the same way they've been playing, create those opportunities, and I think they'll take them and they'll win the game. But yeah, this is it. I mean, no must-win games at this point in the season, but you just get the feeling that Hibs have got to win this game. If they win it, they'll probably jump 2 or 3 places, and all of a sudden they'll go from in the bottom 2 to targeting the teams above them. So I think Hibs will win.
Yeah.
And I'll go for a comfortable one, actually.
I still think Ross County will drop down, Alison. I just cannot pick the team that's second from bottom because, you know, you can't keep saying Hibs have got to turn the corner. You can't keep saying, well, that's Hearts off the bottom, so they'll start moving up. I can't even second guess what Killie are going to turn up.
No, I would agree. I think there's a few that could be dragged into the mix. I'm going to stick with Ross County and St Johnstone. However, I think the longer it goes on with Hearts and Hibs, just stuck at the wrong end and toiling for any kind of results on a regular and consistent basis, and more likely it is that they get dragged into it. So I would agree with you. I think there's a few teams, Kilmarnock, Hearts, Hibs, all look capable of being dragged down into the fight at the bottom end of the table.
I think all these fixtures at the weekend, at the end of it, there'll be a reflection of where teams are actually going and which teams aren't going anywhere. So I think the weekend fixtures there will be evident of who is going to be where.
Hibs 2-1 for me, Ruffy, yours?
3-0.
3-0 to Hibs?
2-1 Hibs.
3-0, comfortable.
Oh, comfortable. You two are suddenly changing your tune now.
They're going to give somebody a thank.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Motherwell against Dundee United. And again, we're talking about a Dundee United side. Jim Goodwin, I think his comments just saying he hopes they're still battling for fourth come the end of May.
I think they've been excellent. I think they've dipped under the radar a bit just because of how well Aberdeen started the season. I think they took a lot of plaudits, but I think Dundee United have been very quietly just going about their business, picking up points in a very strong position. I fancy that they'll take something at Fir Park tomorrow.
Tom?
Tough one to call, Peter. Motherwell. Like a nightmare for somebody that puts a coupon on.
Yeah.
I think you look at their, 1 loss, 1, 3 defeats, then out of nowhere, they go to St Mirren and beat them. So I'll sit in the fence and go for a draw, Peter. I don't think there'll be much in it. I'll go 1 each.
Yeah, Ruffy?
Yeah, I think it'll be tight as well. I was going to go 1 each, but I'm going to go 2 each now. Stamps went 1 each.
2 each now, that's drastic.
He's never went 4 goals in a game.
No, it's drastically different. That's because there's no money involved. And he's more relaxed as a grandpa. I'll go Dundee United to win 2-1. What did you go, Ali?
I think a draw. I think Dundee United will take something. I'm going to say 1 each.
Okay, Battle of the Saints. This is what the St Mirren manager Stephen Robinson thinks.
You've always said that, you know, you're a point off the top six, but you're always looking over your shoulder at the bottom. Clubs of our size have no divine right to be in that top six. So to get 3 points, as you rightly say, would give us a bit of distance between St Johnstone and ourselves. It would mean that we would beat them twice already. And if you take over 6 points off a team, usually you finish above them. So it's early on to be saying that, but it certainly puts us in the right direction.
Yeah, what are you going for, Ruffy?
I don't know, I'm going to go for St Johnstone here. I think St Mirren are witnessing that wee slide that all these teams have at some time of the season. I've been impressed with St Johnstone, and I think they'll just nick it 2-1.
Yeah?
No, I'm going to go for St Mirren.
Yeah?
2-1.
1 each.
Yep, I'm going to go 1 each as well. I think it's got the makings of a draw. Valakari, there's something in the mix there. I think when he gets a transfer window, it'll be interesting to see who St Johnstone buy, Tam, in that
Yeah, I think
January window.
he's plenty of contacts over in Finland in different places. So, no, I think that he's come in and, it's not how you start with Valakari, it's how you finish.
Okay, there's no point in even dwelling on that line from him. Let's look to Sunday as well as the cup final. A small matter of Kilmarnock against Hearts. Here's Cara Henderson.
Kilmarnock take on Hearts here at Rugby Park in the Scottish Premiership at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and both sides are only separated by a point currently in the Scottish Premiership table, but manager Derek McInnes is looking for his side to maximise having 5 out of the next 7 games here at Rugby Park.
The team that I inherited, we wouldn't have won the title if we hadn't sorted our home form. Any team who doesn't win their home games never gets the job done of what they're doing. You've got to be a team who really enjoy being at home, and that goes hand in hand. We've got to have something here that is special, and the fans need to help us at the weekend. We've got to help the fans get into it. But our home form won us a title. Our home form kept us in the league, and our home form got us 4th in the league last season in European sport. We have to try and make sure that we take full advantage of that home form from now on in.
Kilmarnock are currently sitting 10th and 2 points off the bottom of the table, but Derek McInnes is more looking to see where his side is come January the 8th after this very busy spell of games.
Well, when we came out the fixtures on the 8th of January, we'll probably have played everybody twice by then, and more or less. I think we're the only team that's played Rangers and Celtic twice at the minute. But we've played everybody else by that time, by the 8th of January, and normally by the 8th of January, that fixture list after the festive period is normally where you're roughly where you're going to be in the league. So if we're in trouble at the bottom, then that's where we're going to have to have a wrestle with. Hopefully we're mid-table and pushing top 6, and that's where we need to push on from there. And it's normally with the teams at the top of the table fighting for Europe and fighting for titles, normally you get an idea of what the league table looks like after then.
With how tight it is at the bottom of the Scottish Premiership, is it too soon to say that this is a crucial game for both of these teams' seasons? Only time will tell. PLZ Soccer will be here on Saturday, so make sure that you follow all of our social media channels to get all the action as it unfolds.
Absolutely. It will be there on Sunday as well. Cara's going there on the Saturday just to make sure the park is A-OK. And then we'll see what happens. 2-1 Kelly for me.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Kelly as well. I'm going to go 2-0.
I fancy Kilmarnock. I think Hearts obviously coming off that game against Copenhagen. Shankland not available. I think he's suspended. I think Kilmarnock are far better in home soil. I'm going to say 2-0 Kilmarnock.
Kilmarnock, if you're a betting man, 2-1. Fill your boots.
Okay, there you have it. Tam has given you that. Just a couple of things that I want to quickly draw to your attention, and I think it would be nice, Ruffy, if you, I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear some clicking in the background there?
I thought it was a mouse.
I was curious to see what it was. I thought it was you and your teeth.
Technical.
I've got to ask you this, Ruffy, and I think it's a couple of things I want to talk about before we go. Personally, for me as a youngster, realising that there were 2 teams on the park, I always loved the early 70s Hibs team. Alec Edwards sadly passed away at the age of 78. He played in 2 cup finals for Dunfermline, one of them, of course, winning in 68. He was part of the 72 side for Hibs that defeated Celtic, and over and above that, played in that 7-0 game for Hibs against Hearts. I mean, 215 appearances, 12 goals. He's in the Hibs Hall of Fame. I think a great loss to Scottish football.
Yeah, fortunately, it was this year he got inducted in, I believe. And I was telling you that he was at Pat Stanton's 80th and with the rest of the boys of that era. And I think if you ask any of the players about Ali Edwards, you know, just a joy to be around. You know, one of these wee guys in the dressing room who kept everybody going. You know, always full of life. And footballing wise, I'm sure people at Dunfermline and Hibs will tell you he was a tremendous player as well. And the Hibs team, he played in a tremendous Hibs side. So I'm sure when it comes, there'll be a lot of people for Dunfermline and Hibernian with a lot of fond memories.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, our condolences, thoughts and prayers to everyone connected with Alec Edwards, his family and his friends. He sadly passed away at the age of 78. If you enjoy the content that we're bringing you on PLZ Soccer Football Show, Women's Football Show, Straight Talk, of course, let's not forget the journals and our reporters out giving you all the latest from managers and players right across the country, north and south of the border, then don't forget to download the app. You can subscribe to our channel. One of our latest interviews ahead of a cup final, referee John Beaton has got it all to do. He's got to keep order in this and make the right decisions with the help of the VAR officials as well. Hugh Dallas was well acquainted with Old Firm games, and there's a great interview that Alison has on our channel. This is just a flavour of what Hugh had to say.
John Beaton, you know, on Sunday will have already identified players that he will get to early. Some players, you know, are a little bit more difficult to manage in Old Firm games than others. And I know when I refereed, there were players like Paul McStay, and Richard Goff were the two captains in my first Old Firm game, and you would be talking to them throughout the game because they were great examples of captains, and I think you need to be an example when you're a captain. So you'd be talking to Paul or Richard and saying, you know, Paul Lambert was another great, you know, guy you could speak to throughout the game, to get to other players and say, look, you need to. Sometimes it didn't work, you know, it just didn't work, and you say, right, okay,
it's just an avenue.
I've gave everybody a chance, you know, but also players that you knew were going to be in the mix, you know, like Ian Ferguson, you know, at Rangers, you know, Peter Grant, you knew these guys were, because they were the engine room, you know, and they were in there to stir it up, and you used to get to them early and say, you know, you're better on the pitch than off the pitch, so work with me. And, you know, generally they did.
Yeah, good interview, well worthy of you having a look at. Hugh Dallas talking about his time as a match official and of course the cauldron of Rangers against Celtic. That press conference out there at Ibrox is finished. I'm delighted to say we can join Patrick Mullen, who is there. Patrick, there must be a sense of confidence, an increase in the confidence ahead of the cup final after the performance of Rangers. What was the mood like from Philippe Clement and the Rangers players?
Yeah, you're right, Peter. It definitely was a mood of confidence, but it isn't down to just that one result against Tottenham, according to Philippe Clement. This is a squad that has been growing since the start of the season. If you go back to August, September, when we first spoke to him this season, he said, give me 2-3 months to build this squad, and you start to get the feeling that it's starting to happen now, and that will all come to a head this weekend against Celtic. Can they do it? Well, only time will tell, but the big news for any fans of Rangers that will be watching is that injury news. We obviously saw Johnstone go down, and we also saw Igmani holding his calf. According to Philippe Clement, there is still no definitive answer. They are still waiting for the medical report, waiting for them to get back to them. But according to Philippe Clement, Johnstone will give it everything to play, and that decision might just come down to the morning of the game.
Brilliant. Thank you to Patrick for just making it right at the death there. That's what you need from someone. That's the commitment. That's the commitment. We had a meeting about commitment, Ruffy. You weren't there, but Patrick clearly was, and that was absolutely top drawer from the man.
Absolutely fantastic. He's obviously come on quite sharp there, obviously. No time to comb his hair or anything, so he's done particularly well.
He's not got his PLZ jacket on, he's not got his mum's John Murchison jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of things, quick thanks for that. Just a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on. Ali World Cup qualifiers, Greece, Belarus, Portugal or Denmark for Scotland. I don't know about you, I'm happy with that. You?
Yeah, it could have been far worse. I think it's a very tough ask to get through this World Cup group. You're really probably going to have to win the group to get through. Very, very tough for teams to get in. So I think Scotland is favourable.
Hoping Portugal beat Denmark.
Yeah, March.
It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been, yeah. March and November 2025 playoffs to be held 26th and 31st of March. So it's going to be fantastic. Let's hope we can make it. I might as well start early on this. Alison, given the debacle of Germany, would you want to be at the World Cup for us, USA and Mexico?
Yes, I'll get my card in early.
Yeah, you're a grafter. Tam, there's absolutely no doubt you're going because you're absolutely magnificent in Germany.
So I held the whole team together in Germany, as you know, Peter.
Yep, you did. You were superb, and I don't think there's any doubt you're going. Don't forget, you'll be able to see in the World Cup in 2026, Ruffy up in Banff, Benbecula, and lots of places up north where he's offered substantial...
We could still take him with him in an urn or something, 2026.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible, you. You're a disgrace.
With us in spirit.
See if he dies the next couple of years, you will be. That's terrible.
Don't scatter me in Mexico.
Brilliant. Just one little footnote before we go. We started laughing. I don't know why we're laughing now, because Saudi Arabia have the World Cup in 2034. The BBC's Dan Rowan obviously says it's the biggest act of sport washing in FIFA's history. Human rights violations, the repression of women, criminalisation of homosexuality, restriction of free speech, continued use of the death penalty, the 2018 murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, the imprisonment of activists for online dissent, the country's involvement in the bloody conflict in Yemen. Just a few small misdemeanours there that I think for other countries might go against them, but money talks.
I think that's the bottom line. That's absolutely the bottom line. And the other thing was, it was very difficult for anyone else to get that bid. Yeah,
absolutely. There's no sporting integrity. Anybody who says that on our programme needs to have their head looked. There's no such a thing. Just before we go, if you want to win yourself £1,000, yes, £1,000, money talks. Here's the details of the giveaway. £1,000, Tam. It's well worth it.
It's well worth it, Peter. I say you've got obviously little, questions every day, and if you can just tune in every day to the show, then you've got a wee chance of winning
Christmas.
a grand.
Yeah,
£1,000 would be a nice wee lift before Christmas.
Pay for Wednesday's Bard Bill.
Christmas Day. Well, thanks for that. Christmas Day, Ruffy. Somebody chaps your door with £1,000 cash.
Come in.
Absolutely. And as Dougie Donnelly said on many an occasion, can we go to the Coatbridge Bowls? I think we can. Let's have the question. This Christmas, PLZ Soccer are giving away a cash bumper prize of £1,000 to one lucky winner on Christmas Day. Over the 12 days of Christmas, we'll be asking a simple question about each of the top flight teams. To be in the hat with a chance of winning, all you have to do is comment your answer, tag 3 friends, and make sure you're following PLZ Soccer. Good luck.
Today's question is, who scored the winner for Ross County when they won the League Cup in 2016?
Oh, that's great. Fantastic.
Yes,
just before we go, just before we go, my apologies to so many people who, I mean, Kerry looked fantastic there and the Star looked as if it was okay, but so many people are complaining now because the Star's on the way and it's just kind of a going off to the left-hand side.
It's been on the mulled wine.
Yeah, absolutely. The Christmas tree is looking slightly the worse for wear. We'll sort it out. We definitely will sort it out. But nevertheless, if you get a chance, hit the subscribe button on our PLZ Soccer YouTube channel. You can put your answer in there and you'll be in the hat. You don't need to answer all 12 days of Christmas. Our giveaway, if you put your name in there and answer correctly on one of those days, then you're in the hat and in with a chance of winning that £1,000 giveaway. From Ruffy, from Tam, from Alison McConnell, from myself, Peter Martin, thank you very much for watching and listening. Enjoy the football over the weekend. Just go to the game, support your team, and get home safely.